Let's review Kinsta, one of the most popular names in WordPress hosting companies. I'm Andrew, and in this tutorial, I'm going to take a full look at Kinsta to see whether or not it meets my criteria for choosing a good hosting company for your WordPress website. Before talking about Kinsta, let's consider what important factors you should take a look at when choosing a good hosting company. Now, the first thing is, of course, your WordPress website speed. You want a very good speed on your WordPress website, and really this is not something that you can figure out from reading the specification of your server like RAM and CPU. There are lots of technologies that can contribute to your overall speed, like the web server that they are using, how it's configured, your CDN, which is really important for your website speed. So you can't really know these subtle things when choosing a hosting company, and you really have to trust the other people's word or do the test yourself and compare the result. That's the best thing that you can do. So if you can get a free trial, this is your best chance for evaluating the speed, and really you cannot find it out from the information they are giving to you. Next, of course, after speed comes reliability. So you want a company that is reliable, you know, that has been in the industry for a long time, and you can trust the company is not going to go out of the business, and your website is safe. And of course, their customer support is really important, because always there are problems with your site that you have to talk to them. It happens all the time. So you want a company that offers very good customer service. And another very important factor that users usually neglect and overlook is how you can scale your website, because usually when you're starting out, you have a small website and you have a very small number of users that are visiting your website. But as you go on, usually your plan is not enough. You want to upgrade to other plans, and a lot of the time, even upgrading to another plan is not enough. You have to use newer technologies, more advanced technologies, for example, for your database or for your website. Then you want these technologies to be available at a good cost in your company. So you always have to think how you can scale your website in the future. And finally, you want an easy to use and intuitive interface, because it's really important. You don't want to panic when you look at the interface or not understand it. It should be very easy to set up your WordPress website, to manage it, and most importantly, back up your WordPress website. That's really important. Another thing I want to talk about is the difference between general shared hosting plans and managed WordPress hosting plans. So in Kinsta plans, you're getting managed WordPress hosting, meaning that it's dedicated to WordPress. It's optimized and customized for WordPress. The plan and everything is just built for your WordPress website. Now, of course, you get cheaper prices when you use general shared hosting services. They are not built for WordPress. They offer, of course, PHP, MySQL, and everything that WordPress needs to run. So you can install WordPress yourself, or maybe they have a wizard so that you can easily install WordPress, but they are not optimized for WordPress. For example, they do not offer any caching out of the box. So caching is one of the things that is really important for the speed of your website, and you want it to be set up right. Also, other technologies are by default activated or maybe very easily activated for your WordPress website, while they are not easily done in shared hosting environments. Now, Kinsta is not the only company that is offering dedicated WordPress service, but there are differences between Kinsta and other companies. For example, it's one of the names that really comes to mind when talking about WordPress. There are other companies that are offering such services, but only a few have really focused on the WordPress environment, and Kinsta is one of those. It has been around for more than 10 years and has a very good number of data centers around the world, and also CDN locations. Another thing that I really like about Kinsta is its out of the box and free Cloudflare integration. So in every Kinsta plan, you get Cloudflare for free and ready out of the box. So you don't have to do any kind of technical stuff. You don't need to know how Cloudflare works. Everything is just set up for you. You have Brotherly compression, which works much better than gzip compression for making your website load faster. And you have early hints that you can turn on. We will talk about it. They have HTTP free support, which is a newer technology, a replacement for HTTP 2. We have edge caching, we have firewall and DDoS protection. You get all the things for free with dedicated Cloudflare IP addresses, and that's really cool. Finally, something that I really appreciate about Kinsta is their technical support, because technical support is something that you usually at first do not take seriously and say, okay, I'm not going to have any problem, I'm just going to set up my website. But there are always things that you need to get help from the technical support. Maybe you want to tweak something, maybe something doesn't work as expected, or you have some special requirements that you want to consult, and the technical support is really important to be there and help you. In Kinsta, it's really something that you can be sure that it will always help you. So the technical support is very professional and they do their job greatly. So now we are in Kinsta.com and we are going to take a look at the pricing. So if I just click on this pricing, you can see that we have different plans. Of course, this WordPress site is what we are interested in. They have, of course, other plans, but we are interested in WordPress websites. Now, as you can see, it starts at $35 per month in the starter plan, and it's quite good for starting out because you have 25,000 visits per month and 10 GB of storage, and also free migration, backup, and other features. And if your usage goes above that, whether it's storage or visits or the CDN, you can always pay the extra usage at the end of the month. So here we have the starter plan. As you can see, it supports one WordPress installation. You have two WordPress installations in the Pro version. And then, of course, we have business plans, which allow more WordPress installations suitable for agencies and when you are doing freelancing work. So here is the starter. As you can see, we have one WordPress installation, 25,000 monthly visit, 10 GB of storage space, free CDN for 100 GB, and also two PHP worker, backup retention for 14 days. It's going to automatically back up your website every day and hold each backup for 14 days. So that's pretty awesome. As you can see, they're not recommending the starter plan for e-commerce or membership sites, but if you're just a small website and just starting out, it's totally okay. So I really recommend that you start with the starter if you have a small website, so you don't have to fear that they don't recommend a starter and pro for e-commerce or membership websites. When you're starting out, then it's just totally fine. It just supports because the infrastructure is pretty strong and that's just fine. But as your website gets bigger, you're getting more requests and maybe you have very heavy application, then you want to start to use business plans. So that's just fine. They also offer optional add-ons and features. For example, if you have premium staging environments, external backups, extra backups, Nginx reverse proxy. And if you don't understand these terms, it's just totally fine because you know they cover all important features that you might need in the future. So if your website gets very big and the performance is not good enough, they might recommend that you turn on some of these features, but you know that the infrastructure is there. And also we have prices for extra usage, whether it's extra visits or extra disk space or CDN coverage. So that's pretty good. So you know that even when starting with the basic plan and the starter plan, you can always at the end of the month pay for your extra usage and your website is not going down. So this was the plans and pricing. Now I'm just going to log in into my dashboard, which I already have a plan to see what features we get, because your plan is basically the same. Now, before logging into my account, I just want to point out that they have very good documentation. So this is also one of the good features of Kinsta. So I recommend that you take a look at the documentation because it's just very powerful. So as you can see, we have different sections for each and every feature offered by Kinsta, and also they have and get a starter, so you can just start. It just tells you how to add a site, how to use features, how to manual installation, clone a site, go live checklist, multi-site network. So that's pretty awesome. For example, again, for caching, they have different tutorials on caching. So that's a very good feature because they have a very clean documentation that can help you build your website, whether you're a beginner or an expert. So here I'm in my dashboard, and as you can see, I have access to recent activities and notifications. So you have access to all this information here. Then of course, you have access to your applications. Now we are just going to deploy a WordPress website, so you don't need to touch that. You have access to your databases. Again, don't have to worry about that because it just allows you to create a WordPress website very easily. We also have a static size and DNS, and again, you don't need to worry about these things because we are focusing on WordPress website, but the DNS management is pretty powerful, of course, for managing your domains and DNS. Now, to create a WordPress website or import it from another company, you just have to click on WordPress websites, and here we have, of course, request migration that they do give you a free migration. You can just check the policies. Then we have a create a website, and we have free options here. We have install WordPress, which will install the complete WordPress for you, set up the database so you don't have to touch anything. It just does the database, does the HTTPS, and everything works fine. Then we have empty environment that will create an empty environment for your WordPress website. So it installs the PHP and you have the PHP ready, the MySQL ready, but you just have to configure the WordPress yourself. And finally, we have clone an existing environment that basically clones your pre-existing WordPress website. Now here, I cannot use this option because I do not have any WordPress installation. And if you do have and your plan allows multiple WordPress website, then of course you can clone your existing WordPress website so that you can use it, for example, as a base WordPress website and then create multiple clones and customize them for your clients. Now, of course, I'm just going to click on install WordPress and continue. Now we have to give our website a name, of course. It's only going to be used in your Kinsta as the name of your project, so you just find anything you put here. Then we have the data center location. Now, one of the good things of Kinsta is that they have so many data centers around the world. You can just choose the one that is closer to your target audience, but it's really fine anything that you choose because you're going to use CDN, and the CDN is just going to even out the performance around the world, and you don't need to worry much about the server location. You can just choose one of the boosted locations. Then we can just input the title of our WordPress website as well as our WordPress admin username and also WordPress admin email. You also must select the language of your WordPress website here, and finally you can check whether you want to have a WordPress multi-site or you want WooCommerce, US SEO, or easy digital downloads from the beginning. Now we are not going to check these options. Now I can just click on continue. And it's just going to take a few minutes until it creates your WordPress website. And you can, of course, close this window. It's just going to do the job itself. So now our website is ready and we can just start using it. So if I just click on manage domains, you can see that we have a default temporary domain from Kinsta. Of course, you can just use this domain forever, but this is not what you are going to use. This is just for testing your website, and then you can just add your own domain, and it's just going to be very easy. You just have to follow the steps. You just have to set your DNSs in your domain, and it's just going to be done. Now, as you can see, with this temporary domain, we have access to our WordPress website. It's live on the internet. We have HTTPS, so it's ready to be used. So now if I just bring my admin panel and enter my credentials, and click on the login, I can just access my admin panel. This is just the same admin panel you get from any WordPress installation, but we only have this Kinsta cache enabled by default. So you have this Kinsta cache, which just eliminates the need for any other caching plugin or service. So you have your cache control, and it's very easy to use. So you can just clear all your caches if you are changing your website dramatically and the change is not going to be reflected. So that's all you get from this plugin. Then of course you can add your domains here, and let me just show you how you can access this page. So if you are in your dashboard and you bring your WordPress website, here is my only WordPress website. I have the location and the information, and then if I just click on it, we have the general information such as the number of PHP workers, your IP address, whether or not your WordPress website is live. So you have access to all these information here. We also have information for your SSH, SFTP. You don't need to just touch that if you're not familiar with this information. And also you have your database access credentials. Again, you don't need to worry about this information unless needed. And then we have, of course, our domains that we talked about. So you can just add your domain here, and you should do it when you're putting your WordPress website live. And next we have backups. It's very easy to use, and by default it's just going to back up your website every day. So this is the first time we are creating the website, so the first day, but from now on every day you are getting a single backup, and then you can just access it there. You can turn on hourly backups if you want. Now I don't recommend this unless you have a good reason to do. And your website is just going to change a lot every hour, because it's just going to add an extra amount to your bill. Then you can do manual backups anytime you want, and also you can download your backup. So it's very easy to use. Next, we have tools. So here is a set of tools, but also options for your WordPress website. So it's actually tools and options. So some of these options are turned on by default, like this site cache, and you can just manage it from here. And then of course there are more options. For example, you can restart your PHP, you can turn on debugging so you can get errors and warning instead of blank pages. You can search and replace in your entire website. You have New Relic monitoring that you can just turn on to see the problems with your WordPress website if you have performance issues. And we have Force HTTPS, which is enabled by default. You can see the geolocation of your users. You have IonCube Loader if you want, if you have encrypted codes in your WordPress website. We have PHP engine that you can just modify your engine, and site preview, which is again another tool for managing a WordPress website migrations. You have early hints. This is a very cool feature in relatively new technology that allows you to boost the speed of your website. It's not going to work on all browsers, but when browsers do support early hints, you are getting a speed boost because it's just going to allow your browser to preload resources before getting the full response from the server. And this is really great. You have access to your redirects, and you can just define redirects there. You can see the list of your themes and plugins. Not very useful, but still not, but maybe they have to work a little here so that you can, for example, manage your themes here. But because it's just currently only showing the name of my themes and plugins, which is not very useful. You can just only search within my installed plugins and themes, but no customization and no turning even them on or off. Then you can just deny an IP address and block it. If you wish, we have access to analytics here, very good basic analytics out of the box. We have CDN, which is by default set up and working for you, but for example, you can clear the cache here or change the setting for different options of your CDN. We have edge caching, again, another very cool feature of Kinsta. It's just going to improve your WordPress website in a very great way. You can just enable it and just you don't need to know how it's working. It's just, you can just read the article, but it's very great. We have APM, which is another service for performing monitoring. Previously, I talked about New Relic. This is another monitoring tool that you get out of the box. You can just enable it and start monitoring your website if you have problems that you usually get in very big websites. Next, we have manage users, which allows you to see and manage the list of your WordPress users. And finally, we have user activity that is just going to show you the activity of different users in your website. And this is the tools that are available for each and every WordPress website that you have in Kinsta. And you also have your number of visits here and the bandwidth and disk usage and the general information about your WordPress website. Now, this is the end of our review on Kinsta. I think Kinsta is generally a very good WordPress hosting provider. They have very good customization options for WordPress, and they have done a good job in increasing the speed of your WordPress website. So I think this is a hosting company that you have to take a look at. Now, there are other hosting companies available for WordPress and other solutions. Kinsta is not the only solution, but they have done a very good job to create an environment that is both powerful and very easy to use. And that's it, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And like always, you can reach our team from the link in the description.